whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Today, a beautiful day indeed. We are going all the way to Thurso, which is in the high Highlands, in the high north of the Highlands. It's actually the northernmost distillery on the Scottish mainland. I know there's also Scapa and Highland Park, but that's on the islands. That's in the Outer Hebrides. But on the mainland, you had, until recently, there was Wick with the old Pulteney distillery, which was the most northern on the mainland. But since a couple of years, that title now goes to this distillery in Thurso, Wolfburn. Now, Wolfburn is a young distillery. It's only been around for a couple of years. It's like I said, Thurso is a village or a city in the... Ooh, I'm having a problem opening my bottle. It's in the north of Scotland, in Thurso, and it's a village with only 9,000 inhabitants in the north of Scotland. And in 2013, the Wolfburn Distillery filled its very first cask with spirit, which means that obviously we did not see any single malt from this distillery until 2016, a couple of years ago. Now in 2018, they have quite a few expressions already, including some single casks, some limited bottlings for special customers like the Rigby edition and whatnot. But this one was actually the second release that they did a couple of years back. After the initial release of their 3-year-old, they came up with this one, the Wolfburn Aurora. Now, the Wolfburn Aurora is a single malt, and the label boldly claims or states sherry oak. So there you have it. Now, it's not a sherry cask matured whiskey. It's a bit of a mix because this single malt was matured in 3 types of casks. 40% of this was matured in second fill quarter casks, so smaller casks. Then 40% was filled on first fill bourbon casks, and then we have the 20 remaining percent that was on first fill oloroso, sherry hogsheads. So that's your sherry oak. So there will be some sherry influence in here, but this is definitely not a sherry matured whiskey. It's a part of it is matured on first fill oloroso sherry casks. It is bottled at a drinking strength of 46% ABV. So let's give this second official release from the Wolfburn Distillery a try. It's a light color. This is what I call sunlight. It's darker than pale straw, but it's not full golden just yet. So let's call this sunlight. It's got a bit of tears coming down the glass slowly. So this is going to be medium bodied, I believe. Anyway, like I said, bottled at 46% on the nose. Well, it's fairly malty, and the sherry influence is quite light. I do get some pineapple, some leather, Seville oranges, juicy pear, some melon even. But there's even a hint of cold coffee and cherries. But all in all, it's nice, but it's rather light on the palate then. It starts sweet, but there's immediately a bitterness there. Now, not astringent, but a bitterness like from grapefruit. There's oranges again there. I get some gooseberries, some chestnut maybe. Actually, it's quite nutty. I get some pecan nuts, cashew nuts, maybe even a pistachio. There's also a drop of honey, giving it a sweetness and some mouthfeel. And there's a mildly smoky edge to it. Again, nice, but without being grand on the finish then. Now, in my opinion, the finish is the best part of this whiskey because it is quite long, it's a bit spicy, a little bit bitter, but it's very clean. And if I had not known that 20% of this marriage was matured on oloroso sherry casks, I would have guessed it was Fino or Manzanilla because of that smoky, slightly salty thing in there. But anyway, it's a good whiskey, but it's not a grand whiskey, and you will pay between 50 and 60 euros for this. But then again, are we supposed to expect grandness from a single malt that is, at maximum 4 years old? I think not. It's very well worth seeking out if you go to a festival and you get the chance to try this. It's quite different from their regular single malt, which matured on bourbon casks only. Here you get some extra flavors from the sherry oak, but also from the quarter casks, giving it a little bit more spiciness, a little bit more depth, but still, it's a very nice whiskey without being grand. And that, my friends, is all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you.